If you're not a single 30-year-old Christian man, keep scrolling. If you are a single 30-year-old Christian man, where are you guys? Us single Christian 30-year-old women are straight up thinking the Lord might have ran out of husbands.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it, Lord.
Okay guys, stay with me. I want to know, why is it that there's so many single women desiring marriage? And I'm speaking about in a Christian environment. In a Christian environment where there's men and women God-fearing, how is it that there's so many women desiring marriage but not as many men? Now I know women are not the ones that propose to themselves, so the blame is not on women. I just genuinely want to know, what is the issue that as a woman desiring marriage in a Christian environment, what is the issue that you're facing? Because I'm seeing so many high achieving women and I'm looking around like, how are you desiring marriage when there should be a litter of men lining up at your door? And now I want to know, is it that the men that are in the churches are not doing it for the women, or is it that the men are not interested and they would rather bring a woman from outside the church inside the church? Or is it that the men are not interested? What is the issue? I want to know, what is the issue that you seem to be facing?
So to all of you women who have went out of your way to hurt a man for whatever reason you did, to the point where now they think that we're all the same, I have something for you. Because now I keep coming in contact with men who are emotionally unavailable, don't know how to communicate, and they have trauma because you decide to do something to someone.
I am at my wit's end, and no one can tell me anything. I am at my wit's end. I'm at my wit's end, and after a really wonderful night of taking myself out, I am ending it in tears. I am ending it in tears because even though I had an amazing night tonight, I am still coming home alone, and it bothers me. It hurts. It's uncomfortable, and I'm not used to it, so I can complain about it.
What's good, guys? It's your boy Josten J coming to you with another video. Let's cook, boys. Let's cook. All right. Men are choosing singleness. Even church women are struggling in modern dating. So I made a video a while. I took it down, actually. I didn't want it to come across as like I'm talking down to people, but you know, there's a bunch of guys out there that believe not all women are like that. And what you have to understand is, yes, I know you want to hold on to that and the hope strategy, but women are like that. And when you come from a standpoint of women are not like that, you're putting certain women up on a pedestal as if they're a unicorn. They can do no wrong. And this video is going to dive deeper into that on this nice Sunday. A lot of men are going to think that, you know, my woman can never be capable of something like this. And that's not true. Your woman might not act on that, but she still has the capability. She's still capable to wake up one day and say, you know what? I don't really feel like being this guy's wife. I don't feel like being this guy's girl. And that's just the truth. Even if she never acts on it, it's better that you think this way. More men are actually accepting this, and that's why women are even struggling in the church. See, women have been sold a bunch of lies as well, and this is why they're frustrated. They believe they don't have to do anything. They don't have to lift a finger. They don't have to be better for a man. They just need to stay in the church, and, you know, God will bring them their man, but that's not true. They're realizing it, and they're frustrated. Roll the clip.
And this is why there are so many Christian single women at the church, literally single for years, not getting married, not getting any type of dates, not getting any type of attention. While they're serving at church, they're doing all the right things on paper. They might be in great physical shape. They might have their healing journey all, you know, through and through. They're doing the inner work. They're doing all that. They are focused. They are focused on Christ. They've been focused on Christ for years. They have been doing the things that people have been telling them to do for years, yet they're still single, have no candidates, have nobody looking in their direction. Let me tell you something. The church does not teach Christian women how to date. The church does not teach Christian women to date at all. What they tell us to do is to sit with our hands in our laps and to wait for a man to come at our door. That is not biblically wise. Faith without works is dead, and that applies to every area of our life. If you have a job and you lose that job, are you just going to sit and pray for God to send you a new job and then just stay at home and not apply for a single job? No. If you lose your job, you're going to pray, Lord, please bless me with another job. Of course, there's the faith. But then after that, you're going to go searching for a job. You're going to be applying for jobs, and you're going to pray that God will bless you with the right job. If all you're doing is sitting at home doing 1,000 prayers for your future spouse, you are fasting, you are praying, you're doing all these other things, but you're not actually putting any practical works into dating, More times than not, you are not going to find your spouse.
And the best part about this is men who have discernment, they can see everything clearly. Good women, women who are not like that, right? That's actually the minority if you want to look at it that way. Because if it was the majority, we wouldn't have a problem out here and women get snatched up quick. We're always talking about traditionalism, doing things the traditional way. 18 through 25, women would be getting snatched up. Why do we have a bunch of leftover women out here complaining? Why? Ask yourself that. If women were religious, they would have been snatched up the whole time. Women don't get that. Roll the clip.
Do single men actually go to church on their own, by themselves? Because people tell me all the time, you should go find a good, godly man at church. Do you know how hard that is to find? I just went to church this morning, and it's a pretty good sized church. And I just decided for science to look around and just see, is there any single men by themselves? Because I never, no matter what church I go to, no matter what denomination, I almost never see single men by themselves going to church. I looked around, I counted like 15 to 20 women who looked like they were by themselves. Or there was a couple other women who looked like it was just them and one other woman. If I counted them, it was like 25 women. I saw one man who was there by himself. But that one man actually gave me hope for a few minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Again, not because I wanted to like meet him or talk to him, but because I was like, hey, some men do go to church like on their own. It wasn't 2 minutes later after I noticed that a woman came up and sat next to him and held his hand. I was like, just kidding. I looked around on the stage. There was multiple men up there on stage. Between the pastors and the singers, every one of them had a ring on. So you tell me, there was tons and tons of single women there. Although I don't really know the relationship status, there was tons of women there on their own. Not a single man that I could find anywhere in the audience that was by himself. Not one. Do single men go to church? I don't understand it. Help me understand.
It's funny, even when they swear that they're not looking, they just want to know that the men are there, and now the men aren't there. See, when a guy finds a good deal, he commits to that. When he finds a woman that's willing to meet him halfway, he invests in that. Women don't understand. This is what I mean. If you pay attention to the clip, she says, but I saw this one guy, then a woman sat next to him. Everybody on the stage was wearing a ring. Exactly. They got with the good women that wanted to be taken, that wanted to be kept, wanted to be a kept woman. He made an honest woman out of them. You can't relate because you've spent so much time out here. Now you're wondering, where's the time gone? Those women played their position. Another funny thing I find about this is that, women who get on with men and things work, even if they're not religious, they just follow the code and stick to the script. Man, woman, children, community. Even if they're not religious, you always see that happening in a dynamic where it's flowing with a man and a woman. She doesn't have to go to church every Sunday. She's just not a fool. Even women in the church don't understand this. And the biggest thing that guys need to pay attention to, and this is the best part of having discernment, when women run to the church, it's usually to cleanse themselves of their sins. They want to repent, and this is good. But at the same time, they want men to evaluate them the same way. That's not how it goes. Yes, we shouldn't be judgmental. We should not look down and be mean to people that we don't know. We don't know somebody else's struggle. We don't know somebody else's story. But you have to judge someone's actions and their character, especially if you're going to date them and they're going to come in your life. That's two completely different things. From being very judgmental in a negative way to having positive judgments. I assess this person's character and their performance like at a job, and I say they're a perfect fit for this job. They can bring value here. Women want you to act like, I repented and I cleansed myself of my sins. I want you to see me that way. That doesn't work with men. And that's why they run to church a lot of the times. But see, men with discernment still ain't going. They know that that's not bad judgment. That's making a good judgment. Because you can't be fooled out here. Even though a woman goes to church and you think that a woman's not like that, it's all the same hardware. Think about it. There are good guys at, Christian events, Sunday service. There's a website. There's, eHarmony, Christian Mingle. That's the one, right? There's all these different ways to meet men. They have little events. There's all ways to meet good Christian men, Catholic men, religious men. But see, at the same time, that doesn't mean that he can't check a bunch of boxes that make him attractive to her. You understand? So they're still picky. They nitpick. They still want the same things. They want a guy who's better than them. But if you're in the church, it should be judging a man's character, right? judging how that man shows up for his community, not only himself, but for his fellow brother, for his fellow sister. They don't care about that. How's he going to show up for me? And what does he have? How tall is he? What does he look like? Let's just roll the clip.
Why are there no cute guys in the church? Is he cute? Maybe I can convince myself he's cute. Ugh, of course. All the good ones got taken up. I came too late. Is it just that men of God aren't cute?
I think in the good year of our Lord of 2025, it is easy to be in a relationship. There's so many avenues to be in a relationship. But at the end of the day, when you're putting yourself first and you're putting your standards first and you have non-negotiables, you're going to wait. You're going to wait. And the wait is worth it. You know, at the end of the day, have good men approach me? Of course. Every good man is not your man.
You have a degree, you have a good job, and you love God, but you still single. Let me break down the truth that nobody want to tell you. A lot of women says there are no good men left. They waiting on their Boaz. But it's a little deeper than that. A lot of women don't want the male version of themselves. He's on your level. A lot of women don't want the male version of themselves. When you see the male version of yourself, you realize that you probably ain't crap either. When you find the male version of yourself and you don't like it, that's probably because you got some work to do as well. A lot of women are here and expecting a man to be here.
You know, most women are like that. I'm not going to say all because I know it annoys certain people. Most women are like that. Do you think that most women are virgins? We've already covered that, and I've given the statistics. So no, most women have kids out of wedlock. Most women are not virgins. So when you're thinking that, you know, women aren't like that, yes, they are like that. Women are sexual beings. Women find men attractive. They like sex just like men like sex. I need guys to understand that. You know, you can have a woman and you always try to make up excuses. Well, her body count's low. Well, she hasn't participated in this. Well, she hasn't done that. All of the guys were relationships. And you're making up all these excuses to run away from the fact of, you know, women are like that. Even in the church, women are like that. And women also claim to be spiritual so they can avoid the religious side of it. So they said they believe in something, but it, you know, it absolves them of their sins. And, you know, these things were experiences that I had to go through. And women that say that they're religious, they do that to literally avoid the past as well. Guys, you gotta have discernment out here. You gotta really take the emotion out of things. See, when you take the emotion out of things, you operate black and white. That is all. There's no gray area. And most guys want to live in the gray area, and that's fine. But I'm instructing my guys that if you're staying single right now and you're a guy that goes to church, you're pretty religious, don't make moves thinking that you have to rush or be on some time clock because you want to find something great. Yes, you put in effort, you put yourself out there, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. But this is also a result of men having discernment and also staying single, because it's even affecting inside the church. Men are not going. Plenty of dudes have been taken for a ride thinking that I'm doing the good Christian thing. I'm doing the right thing. Turns out the whole time, the woman was no better than any other woman out here that wasn't religious. So I want you guys to understand that. Yes, women can be religious. Yes, they can be spiritual. Yes, they can read their Bible. Yes, all of it. The whole 9 yards. All of it. But it doesn't change the fact that women are hardwired a certain way. Don't ever run around thinking that women are special out here, because how does it go? Man, woman, children, community. It's just how it is. There's no emotion in it. Take the emotion out of it and understand it's affecting them so much that they can't see it. They're going to keep being delusional, whether they're out here, they're not going to church, whether they do go to church. You know, good men recognize good women. Straight up. If a woman has to tell you that she's so good and she does this and she goes to church and she reads her Bible and she does this, listen, you have to ask yourself, why aren't you letting me figure this out for myself? They're even having Christian singles events. Nobody's showing up to that. Why? There's a bunch of Christian guys out here. They're not going because they have discernment. At the end of the day, if you go to church, fine. If you believe in a higher power, fine. As long as you know good from bad, have discernment, know what to avoid, know what's actually good for you. That's the most important part. Do not be fooled out here. Women that go to church, it's no different. Women are women. It's your boy, Josten J. Get with you boys in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
My kids were with their dad this summer, and I went on 11 first dates. That's right. I said 11, and it was crazy. It was my summer of love. It was fun. It was fine. But I'm going to teach you what I learned. Now, first of all, this content isn't for everyone. I am a Christian, and I love the Lord, and so I'm trying to date like a Christian. That means I got boundaries. I'm not making out with these people. I'm not having sex with these people. There are no hooking up. There's no touching. It's just meeting them. My hair just definitely got in the tuna I'm about to make for myself. So most of these guys were very interested in going on second dates with me. And one of the ones that wasn't, I was very interested in going on all the dates with him. And he wasn't even a Christian. Dumb. So what I learned about myself is that I'm a little not emotionally available. And his lack of interest, I translated into, oh, well, one of us has to be pursuing, so I guess it's me since you're not. Don't do that. That's my advice for you. Don't do that. My second piece of advice is that if they are nagging you at all, and if you don't know what that is, just look it up on TikTok. It's basically being negative and like acting like you're dumb or making jokes about you being inadequate. No, X. Off the island. I did end up going on a date with him for a second date. And although it was slightly enjoyable, those 2 times that he just laughed at me for something, I was like, and tried to like bring me down about something, I was like, yeah, you know, you're not cute enough to do that to me. Guy number 3. If I, at the end of the date, hug you and pat your back like you're my bro, like you're my brother, nothing's happening between us. I felt bad because the date went well. He was so nice and my body just rejected him. It was sad. So listen to your body, ladies, because it doesn't lie. Well, maybe it does, but just listen to it.